Hey, Chris Jacobs here with another edition of Griot's Garage Cars We Can't Sell. Right now I'm driving a 1989 Vanagon. What's even cooler? It's a Westfalia edition. Even cooler? It's four-wheel drive. Even cooler? It's a Syncro. And the coolest of all, it's been converted to a diesel. But enough of my yapping. Here's the guys who really know this van, Richard and Nick Griot.
So this is a car we cannot sell, a very special one to you, to me, to your dad, and to my kids.
Yeah, 1989 Westfalia Syncro, four-wheel drive. My dad, the main reason why he bought this car was that he took us out of school for a year, got a 1971 Westfalia pop top, and really created some great memories all around Africa, all around Europe. I think he was searching for that soul again. Certainly didn't want to drive a minivan, for crying out loud. So he goes and he buys this car, and I don't think he knew how rare it was at the time.
Yeah, let alone he's the original owner, so he bought it new and has had it since that day. This thing only has 66,000 miles on it. We know that he lives on a little island.
Yes.
When he retired, he got the hell out of Dodge and away from people, and he drove from his house to the post office and back for 30 years.
Pretty much.
But to your point, the Westfalia is a pretty unique option on what is the third generation Vanagon. For 5 years, they sent these to the US. They made 150,000 total Vanagons. Out of that, only 14,500 of which were Syncros. And then in '89, they only made 5,000 Westies. I wasn't able to confirm exactly how many Westie Syncros were made, but it's pretty thin.
Yeah.
So all those options combined, let alone all the memories we made in this car, it's pretty special. So I think the love for a Volkswagen camper van started very early for you, and I definitely want to hear more of that story. But this one, again, low mileage, pretty good condition, and how did we got it out of my grandfather's hands for $1, right?
Yeah, I think $1.50. Yeah.
Okay, something pretty low, but we wanted to ensure that it stayed in the family because of all those memories that we made. And then because it had been on an island for so long, it had open recalls from the 90s.
Right.
And, I was towing my buddies and some kegs of beer and frozen meat up over a mountain pass. And I guess that killed the valve train.
I think you dropped a valve somewhere. It got awfully loud. So my dad always wanted, one of these in a diesel. So we just made it happen at Griot's Motors and put a, modern TDI engine in the back, which obviously changed the whole platform.
Yeah, I mean, this is a wholly original car. I mean, there's some repainted areas where he smacked a deer, low light, rainy conditions, age may be a factor.
Yeah, these deer jump like out of the second story right onto the road, and
yeah, I guess deer can have seasonal depression disorder as well, but ultimately everything is stock to the point where some of the kitchen elements haven't even had their protective plastic removed from them, because generally when we'd use this for camping, we'd be cooking over a campfire, heating up a can of beans and hot dogs. But really the motor is the biggest modification we made to this car.
Right. So I finally figured out, just standing here, why my dad wanted the Syncro. And that's because in 1971, we were trying to plan for the trip to cross the Sahara Desert. We were in Rome at the time. He was getting all the tools and stuff, but he called his friend, and his friend sent him over some dune buggy wide sand tires. And they didn't fit, obviously. So he cut out the wheel arch, put these things on, and then we proceeded to have so many flat tires with these things, and we got stuck in the sand, I can't tell you how many times. And that's why he checked the Syncro box. And it's all clear to me now.
Yeah, and the T3 is definitely a cult icon, maybe not so much as the T2 and kind of the hippie movement that is associated with it, but very popular platform to swap in like a Subaru Boxster, engine, because those are also all-wheel drive. However, there are some limiting factors, and I think, just in the essence of a lot of the cars we modify, you want to try and honor where it came from. So, diesel motors get a bad rap, but there's a lot of Volkswagen diesels sitting on the sidelines right now. So we were able to find a 1.9 TDI actually, it was a brand new crate motor from a gentleman on the East Coast that sets up an adapter plate and allows you to drop that diesel into this thing.
It's like the perfect engine for this thing. And the fuel mileage is like, I don't know, 90 miles to the gallon?
I marked, I think, closer to 45, but close enough, you know.
You got 45?
Yeah, and part of it, I think, is just the weight of this thing. If you look inside, you've got, you know, your family of 4. You, your sister, your mom, and your dad. You lived in one of these things for a year.
A year.
I don't know that I'd want to spend a year in it, nor would I want to try that Africa trip in the modern day. But it is outfitted so you could live in it. You've got a burner, you've got a sink, you've got a small refrigerator, you've got closets where you can hang your clothes, you've got multiple beds.
We had all the same things back in 1971. My sister and I drew straws. She got to sleep on top. I got to sleep over the steering wheel. They had a little cot that you clipped in here and back here, and that was my bed. My parents, I have no idea how they slept in that tiny spot for a year.
Well, it's a pretty cool story, but all those features add some weight. So even though you've got this super efficient diesel powertrain, you know, one of the things we ran into is that had more grunt than this thing had gears.
Yeah.
So we also had to up the ratio of third and fourth so that we weren't revving so high when we were at freeway speeds. Now, this thing's kind of a tin can, and you don't want the vacuum of high speeds essentially sucking the sides in on you. So, you know, 70 miles an hour is probably still the max speed, but you can get there and maintain it confidently. Yeah. I mean, I remember climbing mountain passes fully loaded in third gear at 45 miles an hour. That's not the case anymore, but the revs are now at an efficient level, and I haven't remarked fuel mileage since we changed those gears. But really, it's a lightly modified car. I mean, we did get these wheels, which are Steelies off of a Doka, which if you're unfamiliar with that, that's a kind of Europe like pickup concept where there's a lot of utility in this same platform.
And we upgraded the brakes.
We did the brakes. And we have Coney shocks in there as well, but they are at kind of the stock ratio. So the thing rides pretty nice. And we put some all-terrain tires on it, so if we ever do go find some real nasty stuff, we'll be, I guess, prepared. But
well, my dad and I are planning to take this up to Barrow, Alaska. I mean, just as far as you could go north, and then start driving down, because we haven't done the tip of Alaska down to South America.
Yeah, so there's just screws loose in the Griot family in general. But, I mean, this car is unique. It's now running really well. Granted, the last 2 trips I took it on, I broke something, because that's what happens when you swap a motor and try and make things that never were meant to go together work. I destroyed a water pump on the intercooler system, so I went into limp mode while I had my whole family strapped in.
That was probably a good idea for you. Otherwise, you would have been driving 85 at like 5,000 RPM.
Well, I mean, it essentially reverted back to the original, you know, power plant, which was, I think we saw it about 90 horsepower, 115 pound-feet of torque. This diesel is going to be somewhere around 200 horsepower, 250 pound-feet of torque. So yeah, I was crawling up hills, but broke that, and then broke the starter the next time I utilized it, and then blew some fuses, maybe, playing the music a little too loud.
But it's rock solid now.
It is absolutely rock solid, and I think, you know, what's special about it, obviously the genesis of the love.
Yeah.
A once-in-a-lifetime trip where your dad did something
crazy,
risky, but extremely formative.
Yeah. Well, and then got hit by an elephant, charged by rhinos. I mean, it was, you literally woke up and thought you were going to die every day.
Yeah, I remember you telling me stories about taking the trash out and seeing the eyes of hyenas on the trash pile. A green mamba dropping out of a tree right next to you.
Yeah. I really thought my parents organized this trip to leave my sister and I behind somewhere.
I mean, I'm grateful they did not in many ways, but seriously, very special. And then to think that was in 1971 and 1972, your dad bought this thing new because of how special that trip was to him. So 27 years on. And then for me, this was one of the highlights of my youth, riding around in this car. I remember we used to load in here, and on this little island, we had these folding camp chairs where my brothers and I would sit on them, and if we went around a turn, we'd, you know, kind of push each other to see who we could knock off these chairs, or if the turn itself would knock us down. And then going camping on the Olympic Peninsula, camping out in the fields on the farm. hearing deer rustle around and running back into the house. So it was very much a part of, my youth. And then now, as a father of 3, this is a playground.
Yeah.
And my kids are obsessed with it. We've gone camping in it. We've gone and kind of retraced some of our steps around the Olympics, gone into the Cascades.
I think one of the best pictures of this is like 4 generations. The kids are on top, you're up there, my dad and I are sitting on the floor. That just completes the whole thing. And I think that's one of the reasons why this will never be sold.
Yeah, and you want to know another thing? We got an offer to buy this car, right? From your dad.
Yeah.
And we all stated that, nope, we made it too good. You can't have it back, but just know that we're going to enjoy it. We're not going to let it go to any other soul. And it is just such a great car with so many memories and just in incredible condition with kind of a hot rod attitude now because it gets up and scoots. It gets great gas mileage.
Yeah.
And you can go up hills.
Yeah, which is really important.
You can imagine you're in Africa in a sandy desert when you're on a well-paved mountain pass crossing I-5.
We couldn't get up Mount Kilimanjaro, and the van was totally loaded. We had all the snake skins and ostrich eggs and carved elephants, which you still see in the African room today. And my dad unpacked the whole entire van, and he was going to repack it when he got over this knoll. Well, it couldn't get up and over the knoll. So we've got pictures of him just like stuck on the side of
Well, as I recall, he drove up that knoll in reverse because it had a lower gear ratio than all the forward gears. So one of the other really special things, all the photos that your parents took, I mean, I definitely saw how low quality of a cut job he did on those wheel wells. So he must have had like a pocket knife in this.
The Italians didn't want to do the, cut. I mean, we were at a shop and they didn't want to do it because the gas tank and the gas filler is right, behind that door.
Sounds logical, by the way.
Yeah, and so my dad just like took the thing and just, voila. Now we have sand tires.
No, but a Volkswagen van will always be a part of the Griot family lore and history. And when you're looking at a car, it is way more than just a car. It's now 4 generations of memories in something with 4 wheels, a motor, and pretty cool pop top as well. All those things combined, this is definitely a car we will never sell.